Moving into our last division, we have the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals with an over-under of 6.5 wins. 4-8 strength of schedule. They open up against Buffalo, Los Angeles Rams, Detroit. So tough 3 games. Then they have Washington and then San Fran and Green Bay. Oh, Lord. The Chargers, Miami, Chicago, the Jets, Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle, New England, Carolina, the Rams. This is a lot harder than that strength of schedule is making it seem. I think I'm going to go under. I think they're a 6-win team this year. I don't know. I really do want to go over, but the wins I see are Washington, the Chargers, maybe Miami, Seattle, maybe Chicago, New England, Carolina. Yeah, I'm gonna go over actually. That was 8.
No, I'm with you. I'm going over. I think, you know what? I think another year of Gannon again, right? Like I think this defense is going to really start coming together. I think with Kyler back healthy whole off season, adding Marv, they're a very wild card team in terms of expectations. They could floor out at like 5 wins and have everybody be like, oh shit, like Gannon's out, restart. Or they could be like if a 10-11 win team where we're all like, oh, like just like I said about the Chargers, like, whoa, okay, like they're right back in, like they're not, there's not much of a retool period, like they're right back in business. I feel like they are one of the most volatile teams in terms of expectations. But again, just leaning where I feel more, where I'm leaning more. I think they could very easily get to 7, 8, even 9. But I think that's just how I view it. 7 to 9 is kind of that range for me.
I'd have to agree with you. I think they are a very big sleeper this year, and I do like their offense, I feel like, a lot more than other people. I would have to agree with you that they are probably one of my most volatile teams in terms of where their record could end up. Moving into the Los Angeles Rams, we have an over-under of 8.5 with a strength of schedule of .505. The Rams open up against Detroit, and then they have Arizona, San Francisco, Chicago, Green Bay, then a bye, Las Vegas, Minnesota, Seattle, Miami, New England, Philly, New Orleans, Buffalo, San Fran, the Jets, Arizona, and Seattle. What are you thinking, Dobbs?
I'm thinking, look, I'm not going to doubt Stafford and McVay. Like, I'm going to keep it simple. Like, I think that they've shown if Staff is healthy, that's how about that? That's the contingency. If Staff stays healthy the whole season, this is a playoff team again. And so with that said, I'm going to go over. But if Staff gets injured, again, I think that's really all that this line is banking on. If you're creating this line, you're like, yeah, Staff's getting older and he's had injuries in the past where it was the whole arthritis thing that never really kind of came fully to fruition, but it's got to be in the back of your head somewhere if you're thinking about this. I think if you're writing this line, all you were thinking about is like, if Staff stays healthy the whole season, that's the question, right? Like that's really all there is to it. If it's like if he stays healthy the majority of the season, plays most of the games, they're a playoff team again. But then also, like we said, look, losing Aaron Donald is no easy replacement, but I think they've done about just as much as you can do to have that D line still be a productive unit while losing him. It banks a lot on the young guys, but it banks much more on Staff than anything else. Because no matter how you slice it, AD was. Not that he wasn't still one of the best D linemen in the entire league last year. Oh, Lord knows he was. But you can say you finally started to see the regression a little bit in terms of explosiveness. So it's not like they're losing him in his absolute prime where it's like, okay, this is going to completely change everything. Yeah, it changes a lot, but I still think this is a playoff team even with the loss of Aaron Donald.
I am going to go over as well. They won 10 games last year. I think they drastically improved. In the secondary, they added so many units to the offense or to the defensive line. They signed a guard. I mean, I just think, like you said, you can't doubt Stafford or McVay. This is a team that I could see winning 10 games again. I think 8.5 is a little low. I think those are one of the lines that I will probably be hammering. I think adding a game to that would have been a lot better. But at the end of the day, I do think the Rams, year in and year out, if Stafford is healthy, are Super Bowl contenders just because of the fact of the pedigree that the quarterback and coach have. San Francisco 49ers, 11.5 wins at a .505 strength of schedule. They open up against the Jets. Then they have Minnesota, the Rams, New England, Arizona, Seattle, KC, Dallas. Then they have a bye. Tampa Bay, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, the Rams, Miami, Detroit, Arizona. Give me the over. From year to year, it's so funny to me because I don't necessarily think the 49ers ever get better because I think they're already one of the best teams in the NFL, but it seems to me like they almost never ever get worse. And the only way I see the 49ers not winning 12 games this year or more is if they have a quarterback issue. If Brock Purdy gets hurt, if he regresses a lot, that's the only way I don't see them winning 12 games. Since 2019, they've won 12 games. That's the last 5 seasons. They've won 12 games 3 out of the 5 years, and then one of the years they had 10 wins. So I think it's pretty safe to say that the 49ers can win 12 or more games this year.
Yeah, like I'm with you 100%. This is the one team that I think I've picked where like they had a really good season last year where I'm actually going to pick them to get over this total again. But it's for all the reasons you said. And on top of that, they rely the least on their pass game, and they have the best running back in the league. They have their two backup. All 3 of their backups are guys that could produce in the league. I mean, we don't even know what to expect from Isaac Guerrero, but you had a 4-3 back to this offense. Like, you have so many guys that can run the ball efficiently. You have a fantastic O-line. You made great additions, right? Like adding Devondre Campbell to this defense. Now you're getting Hufanga back for a whole season while the Jair Brown stepped into his spot and played fantastic ball for a rookie. Like, this is a roster that, and you, again, one of my guys that no one talks about, but you add Isaac Yiadom to this DB room. Real ones know. The 49ers definitely did get significantly better from a roster that was already really, really good, that was this close to winning the Lombardi. How can I not, with all those things being said, how can I not take the Niners to, I'm going to say that they're going to get to a floor of 12, albeit I can see them getting right to 11 and barely not making it. And is that possible? Yes. But like I've been saying the whole time, I'm looking in terms of statistics. That's a minor side of the statistic, the more that I view. So, I'm taking my 75% that they get over, and I'm happy with it.
Moving on to our last team, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They have a over-under of 7.5 wins and a 4.88 strength of schedule. They open up against Denver, then they have New England, Miami, Detroit, the Giants, San Fran, Atlanta, Buffalo, the Rams, San Fran again, Arizona, the Jets, Arizona again, Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, the Rams. What are you thinking, Dobbs?
This one is so tough. It's so tough. Because it's like, I don't feel like it's like they regressed enough for me to. It's just so tough. Like, this to me is the toughest one, I think, to pick today. Because there's multiple contingencies. Like, even if Geno doesn't start the season good and it's like, panic button, Sam Howell gets thrown in. We saw, like, Sam Howell, like, again, I think he got the blame. He was the, how am I blanking on this? He was the, what do they say?
Scapegoat?
Like, yeah, he was the scapegoat, right? Like, it was so, and the writing was on the wall. Like, everybody knew already that everyone else in Washington was going to lose their job, but they tried to say, no, it's the youngin, it's Sam, we got to ship him out. Where, I don't know really, like we've talked about, I don't really, like that was kind of a weird situation how that happened, right? So you're in a situation now where it's like, even if they start the season off rough, Sam Howell, man, talk about a good backup to have in the room. He could come in there and shock everyone and get to producing like how he was at the beginning of the year last year. And all of a sudden, the Seahawks offense is kind of, I don't want to say explosive, but it's improved. And it's like, they are, what are you thinking? Because I'm honestly stuck. I really am stuck on what I think about the Seahawks right now.
Honestly, I feel like I'm a lot lower on them than a lot of people. I'm going to go under because of the fact that I think they lost a lot of pieces. Their draft wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I also just, it's a rookie head coach, right? He's going to be working with pieces that are not all necessarily his, and I do like their secondary, I feel like, but they improved, with Byron Murphy on the defensive line. You have Christian Haynes, but okay, I just don't feel like after losing Shane Waldron that Geno is going to be able to repeat the last 2 years that he's had. So I just don't see them winning 8 games this year. I think this is probably a regression season.
Yeah, I think, and you could also say, like, there are so many questions on the O-line. Like Charles Cross got a little bit better from that first year, but like outside of that, you can say Abraham Lucas, especially with the injuries, it's like now all of a sudden there's questions at the right tackle spot. Anthony Bradford, rough rookie year. There's already questions. And again, you've got to give these guys time. I'm aware. But center position, a lot of questions. Right. Laken Tomlinson, he's had a good career, but he's getting to the end of it and didn't have a good season last year. So many questions on the O-line. I love adding Byron Murphy. I think the defensive trenches I'm confident in. But to your point, if this team is going to win a lot of games, I think they're going to have to bank very much on that young defense. And this young defense has shown that it can step up, but I just don't know if it's going to be able to step up enough to supplement all the things that you've already addressed, where there's so many new things on this team. Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I've already not been high on the Seahawks, where I think it's going to be a regression season. And everything you said to convince me just solidified it. I'm with you on this one. We're going to go under on it, even though this was the hardest choice I had to make today, Seahawks fans. I'm sorry if you guys end up shattering it. And you know what? Surprising everybody again. Round of applause. It's no hate here, but I just got to go with what I know.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been over and under predictions for all 32 NFL teams. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, I'm going to restart that. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like. Let us know in the comments what record prediction you think we were the most wrong on. We will be back next week with some more content for you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.